In boxing, power gets the highlights, but pressure steals your soul. There's a moment in every fight where a boxer realizes something is wrong. The jab isn't keeping him off, the footwork isn't saving energy, and the ring suddenly feels smaller. That moment doesn't come from one punch. It comes from the guy who keeps walking forward, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't slow down, and doesn't look tired. That guy is David Benavidez. You can run for a round, maybe two. But pressure like this isn't trying to knock you out early. It's trying to break you, minute by minute, punch by punch. Every combination takes something from you: your legs, your lungs, your confidence. Fighters come in with game plans, with movement, with confidence. And by the 6th round, those plans are gone. Hands start dropping, breathing gets heavier, corners start talking about just surviving. That's when the Mexican monster wakes up. He doesn't need one punch. He doesn't need luck. He needs time. Because once he touches you enough, once he forces you to fight his pace, there's no exit. Caleb Plant tried to outbox him. Demetrius Andrade tried to outmove him. Alexander Gvozdyk tried to meet him at a higher weight. Different styles, same ending. This isn't hype. This isn't a nickname. This is what happens when pressure meets discipline, when volume meets patience, and when fear meets inevitability. This is the rise of the Mexican monster. David Benavidez doesn't just fight you, he occupies you. From the opening bell, he's right there. Not rushing, not swinging wild, just close enough to make you uncomfortable. That's the trap, because most fighters think pressure means chaos. But Benavidez's pressure is organized. He touches you early, not to hurt you, but to measure you. Light jabs, probing body shots, every punch collecting information. Then the volume starts climbing. One combination becomes 3, 3 becomes 5, and suddenly you're defending instead of attacking. Your jab disappears, your footwork gets shorter, and the ring, it shrinks. Benavidez doesn't chase you, he cuts you off. Every step is intentional. Every punch is part of a sequence. He's not trying to knock you out in round 2. He's trying to make round 8 feel impossible. This is where the volume becomes dangerous, because it's not just headshots. Hooks to the arms, shots to the ribs, uppercuts in close. Even when you block, you're still paying a price. And by the middle rounds, fighters stop looking for openings. They start looking at the clock. And here's the scariest part. Benavidez doesn't slow down. Most pressure fighters fade. He doesn't. Round after round, the combinations stay fast. The feet stay heavy. The confidence keeps growing. This is why fighters end up on the ropes. Not because they're hurt, but because they're overwhelmed. Too many punches, too many decisions, too much pressure. By the time the knockout comes, the fight's been over for minutes. Before the Caleb Plant fight, boxing fans respected David Benavidez. After it, they feared him. Caleb Plant came in with confidence, and for good reason. He had speed, defense, championship experience. This wasn't supposed to be easy. Early on, Plant did exactly what he needed to do. He boxed, he moved, he made Benavidez miss. For a moment, it looked like the perfect game plan. But pressure like Benavidez doesn't panic. It waits. Round by round, the fight started to change. Benavidez began cutting off the ring, touching the body, turning movement into exhaustion. Those jabs started coming slower. The footwork wasn't as sharp, and every escape came with a price. By the middle rounds, this wasn't a chess match anymore. it was a test of will. Benavidez didn't just land more punches. He controlled the pace. He decided when they fought, where they fought, and how hard every exchange would be. And that's when the world started paying attention. Because Caleb Plant wasn't getting knocked out, he was getting broken down. Round after round, Benavidez kept coming. Same pressure, same volume, no slowdown. When the final bell rang, there was no doubt. David Benavidez hadn't just beaten a former world champion. He made a statement. That night, his name stopped being a question and started being a problem. Because if he could do that to Caleb Plant, what would he do to everyone else? Demetrius Andrade is one of the hardest fighters in boxing to make look bad. Awkward angles, constant movement, and just enough offense to keep you guessing. For years, Andrade built a career on frustration, making opponents miss, making fights ugly, making people lose patience. So, when this fight was announced, the question wasn't about power. It was simple. Could David Benavidez catch him? Early on, Andrade did what he always does. He moved. He tied up. He refused to stand still. And for a moment, it worked. But Benavidez didn't chase. He didn't swing wild. He didn't get frustrated. Instead, he stayed close, cutting off exits, touching the body whenever Andrade slowed down. That movement started costing energy. Every escape took a little more out of Andrade. By the middle rounds, the tone had changed. This wasn't about winning anymore. It was about lasting. And that's when survival mode kicked in. Running, holding, hoping the clock would save him. But pressure like Benavidez doesn't respect survival. He started finding Andrade on the exits, catching him at the end of every movement. And once Benavidez found that timing, it was only a matter of time. And then came the moment the corner couldn't ignore. They didn't see a path to victory. They saw damage. So they made the call. Not because Andrade quit, but because Benavidez took every option away. That wasn't just a win. That was a message. If you try to run, he'll follow. If you try to survive, he'll break you down. Against Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez didn't just win a fight, he erased a style. After Caleb Plant, after Demetrius Andrade, there was only one name left at 168. Canelo Alvarez. The king of the division, the face of boxing, the fight everyone wanted. For David Benavidez, this wasn't about clout. It was about timing. He was undefeated, in his prime, and tearing through former champions. So he called for it. Not once, not twice, but again and again. Because styles make fights. And Benavidez believed his pressure, volume, and size were the right test. Fans argued. Analysts debated. Some said it was too dangerous. Others said it was the fight boxing needed. But the call never came. The years passed. The challenges stayed unanswered. And at some point, Benavidez made a decision. If the fight wasn't coming to him, he would go looking for bigger challenges. Not because he was running from anyone, but because waiting wasn't an option. He didn't leave 168 chasing legacy. He left because he had already earned his shot. And when that door stayed closed, Benavidez kicked open another one. Moving up in weight answers questions, and sometimes it creates new ones. Oleksandr Gvozdyk wasn't just bigger, he was experienced, dangerous, and strong. This was supposed to be the test. But from the opening rounds, Benavidez looked comfortable. Same pressure, same volume, same confidence. Every exchange told the same story. Benavidez wasn't adjusting to 175. 175 was adjusting to him. That fight didn't say, "He belongs." It said, "He's here." Moving up to light heavyweight doesn't just change the number on the scale. It changes the danger. At 175 pounds, punches land harder. Fighters are stronger, and one mistake can end the night. Anthony Yarde wasn't here to survive. He came to test him. Explosive power, physical strength, and the confidence of a man who believes he can change everything with one shot. This wasn't about easing into a new division. This was about answering questions. Could David Benavidez bring the same pressure, the same volume, against a bigger, stronger opponent? From the opening bell, the answer was obvious. The weight was different. You could hear it in the punches. But the pace? That was familiar. Yarde had moments. Sharp counters. Quick bursts of power. Just enough to remind everyone, this was real. But Benavidez never backed up. He took the power, absorbed it, and came right back with interest. Round by round, the fight started tilting. Not suddenly, inevitably. The pressure didn't change. It multiplied. Benavidez began walking Yarde down, touching the body, cutting off the ring, forcing exchanges. The speed stayed, the volume stayed. And now, the power was there too. By the middle rounds, Yarde wasn't loading up anymore. He was reacting. Every time he tried to explode, Benavidez was already in his chest. This wasn't just pressure. This was control. By the later rounds, the outcome wasn't in doubt. Anthony Yarde was still standing. But the fight had already shifted completely. Every exchange belonged to Benavidez. Every moment happened on his terms. This wasn't a back and forth anymore. This was pressure turning into punishment. Punches piling up. Defense breaking down. No space left to escape. And eventually, the referee had seen enough. The fight was stopped. TKO. David Benavidez didn't just beat Anthony Yarde at 175. He broke him down and finished him. That wasn't survival at a new weight. That was dominance. A TKO in his light heavyweight statement fight. From the same pressure, the same volume, the same relentless pace. David Benavidez didn't move up to light heavyweight to test the waters. He moved up to make a statement. And if this is how his run at 175 begins, the rest of the division just got put on notice. After a dominant TKO at light heavyweight, the conversation changes. Because now, David Benavidez isn't chasing opportunity. He is the opportunity. At 175 pounds, the division is stacked, and the names are serious. Demetrius brings discipline, footwork, timing, elite control. The kind of fighter who doesn't panic under pressure. This wouldn't be a war, it would be a chess match. Benavidez pressure versus Bivol precision. The question wouldn't be power. It would be whether anyone can keep Benavidez off them for 12 full rounds. Then there's Artur Beterbiev. Pure force. No wasted punches. No wasted moments. This isn't a boxing match. This is a collision. Pressure versus power. Volume versus violence. If this fight ever happens, it wouldn't be about who's smarter. It would be about who breaks first. And it's not just the champions. Light heavyweight is full of dangerous men. Big punchers. Hungry contenders. Fighters who see Benavidez as the fastest way to the top. At this weight, there are no easy nights. And then, there's the question nobody expected. What if 175 isn't the ceiling? What if the pressure, the volume, the engine moves up again? Cruiserweight is a different world. Bigger bodies, heavier shots, but pressure travels. And if Benavidez believes he can drown bigger men the same way, that opens an entirely new conversation. Whether it's Bivol, Beterbiev, another light heavyweight contender, or a future move even higher. One thing is clear. David Benavidez didn't move up to light heavyweight for comfort. He moved up for challenges. And wherever he goes next, pressure is coming with him. David Benavidez didn't build his career on hype. He built it on pressure. From breaking down champions, to forcing elite fighters into survival mode, to moving up in weight and finishing the job with a TKO. Every step of his journey tells the same story. You can run, you can plan, but eventually, you have to fight. And when you fight David Benavidez, you fight at his pace. 168, 175. It hasn't mattered. The pressure stays. The volume stays. And the monster keeps moving forward. Now the questions are bigger. Bivol, Beterbiev, another war at light heavyweight? Or something nobody saw coming? Whatever comes next. One thing is guaranteed. Pressure is coming with him. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, who should David Benavidez fight next?